was able to get an appointment today for my client up in Toronto. Despite the torrid weather they've been having this week, I was able to get somebody on the phone. I had actually spoke with the executive director of this large law firm earlier in the week, and she had pointed me in the direction of their executive IT director. So I spoke to him today. They're a pretty large company. They have about 80 employees with about 100 computers, 3 locations, and on-site servers at each of those locations. They generally handle things in-house, but the man that I spoke with, was willing to take an introduction because there could be some interest in working alongside a company in the future, which is what my client specializes in. So I think it'll be a really good fit. Excited to get something to start this Friday.
3 meetings. They were all for the same client. Just had a really productive morning. The first one was with a chief information officer for a property management real estate company. They have about 500 users. He was talking about working with companies in the past, but he doesn't work with anybody now. We just had a really good conversation, getting to know one another, and he was really open, I think, to meeting based off of the way that he got along with me. There's not really an angle or an end that I can foresee quite yet, so at the bare minimum, it's at least meeting a new connection that has some power in making decisions for a pretty large company. The second meeting was for smaller home furnishings, like a little small company, 15 users. Got the company they work with. It's a competitor of ours that I'm familiar with. 1 server, 2 locations. I think he's just really open to comparing what the difference is. Then the third meeting was another guy that I just talked to, never spoke to him before, and was just like, hey, this is why I was calling. He told me that the company he does work with, he thinks just charges them a lot. Again, another competitor that we're familiar with, and wouldn't tell me much more than that. Just he's been with them for over 14 years, and he just thinks he's paying a lot of money. So he was open to meeting. So we set something up. All of it is like the first week of February or second week of February. So back to back to back.
All right. I just set an appointment for my client in Austin. It's with a CIO, and it's about 400 users. They're looking for general day-to-day IT operations, overflow and support options. I've been working and talking with him for a few months now, trying to pin down a time, so finally got him. And then another one was my client in Milwaukee, and that was with an owner of a digital marketing agency. I've also been talking with him for about 3 months. They've got some very specific things, including NetSuite and Magento work, that they're looking into using the local vendor for. So that one's scheduled for next week as well. So both of them, have been working for a while. There's a legitimate reason for them to be, meeting with them. So I think they could go really well. So I guess we'll just kind of see.
Rundown on this one is during our meeting on Tuesday, my client Tim wanted me to look into this company that does saddles in Texas, and I think they're like the main distributor of saddles in all of Texas. And so I was able to find the company, find the information, got a hold of the IT manager there, and told me that they were looking for some cabling projects. Cabling's not really our forte, but he said if we were able to help him out with that, then he would like a quote because we're local and we have done work with companies similar to his. So Tim's really excited. I think this was on his hit list, so I'm glad to get it for him.
All right. So I had a very, very unique call. Some company that I reached out to on the West Coast had bad experience with Legion in the past. Clearly, from the conversation, it's pretty funny, but just told him that we were different, obviously, as everybody says. But at the same time, he was just like, "Well, how are you different?" And it's like, we just have to show you, pretty much. That's basically how it went. I can't get into too many fine details of it, obviously, but we got the meeting. He set it up for us, so I didn't really have to do anything. He threw me an alley-oop. I called it, So we'll see what happens.
Got an appointment for my client in Miami, and it was with a guy who took over as executive director for a nonprofit organization, obviously, last year. And when we had talked, he was just getting into the swing of things, looking at stuff. So I thought I'd get a meeting right off the bat, but he ended up saying, I'm going to keep what we have for right now. So I stayed in touch over the course of the year. I talked to him back in October. He said call him in the springtime. So I just checked in and was just like, hey, I would really love to still get together and show you what we could do. And he was like, yeah, what do you look like on the 15th? I was like, got time, got plenty of time. So then I started qualifying him, found out that there's about 25 employees, but not everybody has their own workstation, but there are a lot of people that have like laptops and desktops and work cell phones. He said there's like 40 devices. So I mean, I think it's right in a sweet spot. They have a server. There's a second location, but 90% of it's done at the one. So set up an in-person meeting so that we can just kind of formally meet, talk, see if we can't be a good resource for him if things change or he's open to evaluating with another proposal.